doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up? How y'all doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up? How y'all doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up? How y'all doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Brothers Breaking Bread podcast in the house. Hey!
We'll have a little potluck. Have everybody over. It'll be good.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Let's not just talk about it.
This is a beautiful thing, man. Just all this blackness, and we all just getting together, we playing dominoes, we eating, we drinking.
And, you know, food is always just the extra, man.
They deprive these people of their basic human rights. You know, and we call ourselves Americans. We're supposed to be above all this.
They'll fake the crisis. They'll make it seem way out of proportion.
We brothers, we breaking bread.
How y'all doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up?
Trying to hold it all together, man. Life is moving fast right now, man. So it's good to have everybody come through.
I love that, man. I love it a lot. More than I could say to you guys.
One of Bernie Sanders' biggest supporters is Cardi B. And so now that Bernie has dropped out of the Democratic primary and endorsed Joe Biden, Cardi B wanted to have an interview with him and ask some questions about what to expect moving forward. Who's Joe Biden? Is he worth voting for? So we have two clips to show you. Let's go to the first one.
I'm very excited, and I'm excited too that you are endorsing Joe Biden. And I will want you to tell my platform, why are you endorsing him? Like, why should we vote for him?
Well,
And
a
how
couple of
can we
reasons.
spread for us to vote for Joe Biden?
Okay. First point is that when I announced that I was running for president, and there were like 18 people running, you know, what I said is, if I don't win, and I tried hard to win, I will endorse the Democrat who wins, because Donald Trump is, to my mind, the most dangerous president in the modern history of America. This is a guy who lies all the time. He doesn't believe in science. He downplayed this whole coronavirus, which has led to the deaths of many thousands of people unnecessarily. He doesn't believe in the Constitution. He thinks he's above the law. So this is a bad news guy that has got to be defeated. And I will do everything that I can to defeat him. What I am also trying to do right now, Claudia, is to work with Joe to see that he becomes a more progressive candidate. Right? Mm-hmm. In other words, what I want to see him stand for, which he will, is to raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour, to make sure that all of our young people have the opportunity to go to college regardless of their income, all right? To cancel student debt for a lot of people. I would go further in all of these areas than he goes, but he is moving in the right direction. He's moving in the right direction on immigration reform. I think you will be pleased to hear what he has to say. I know that criminal justice and the number of people who are in jail today, often African American or Latino, disproportionately, is an issue of concern to you. I think you'll be hearing him making some pretty strong statements about the need for criminal justice reform to make sure that we're not throwing young people into jail, but getting them the education and the jobs that they need.
So,
Bars. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Triple B podcast, Brothers Breaking Bread, back in the house on a Friday. Lovely. It looks lovely outside, but it's actually cold. We got the backbone.
Not here.
Not there. It's, well, you live in a slave state, so do we, though, so it doesn't matter.
But so do we.
I know, I just said so do we, though, too, so it don't matter. That's what I just said. You niggas ain't listening. Put your headphones on. We got, what's going on? We got 10 meters, Joe Jeff. Casey Stork in the house. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, ain't not much. Sitting here down here chilling. Or burning, whatever you want your perspective is.
You got your man titties out? Over
Yeah.
there, looking like Black Peter Griffin?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in a wife beater.
Okay.
today.
Damn. Okay, sir. We call those A shirts. here on this very progressive
Yeah, they
show.
are A shirts.
We call these.
That's
those
How did Diddley gonna be in a wife beater?
How the diddler? Hey, dog. I don't get it.
Irony abounds.
Yeah. Oh shit.
He's the anti-Dylan, but up on beating bitches. I don't get
I'm
it.
cool. I'm cool on wife beating. just don't diddle.
Just don't.
The kids.
Just don't touch.
Don't diddle with the kids now. Don't diddle with the kids.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's check in real quick so we can jump into the show. What's going on, Tim? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good.
How's your week?
My week has been slow. Well, it kind of picked up in the middle of the week. I've been back to work now pretty much every day. We had our cases have increased. I think people are realizing that their heart problems are a little bit more serious than what they realize, and they're not canceling their cases. They're actually scheduling their cases for, And so I think the trend is down here in Austin is going upwards as far as our caseload. So I might be back to work full time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Very good to hear. Very good. Gainfully employed. Idle hands. All that good stuff.
But other than that, they've increased the social distancing down here in Austin, in Texas, actually, the whole state of Texas, where now you can't go anywhere without a mask. You can't even go to your car without a mask. You can't even go into the common areas without a mask. So they've stepped up the social distancing. They're here, and basically, we're just trying to be cautious, trying not to spread this virus any more than what it has to be.
Okay. All right. Do your part. What's going on, Joe?
Man, still held up at the house.
Doon doon. I should have had the sad music, dog. Doon 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 doon.
Right.
Did get out for Easter. Did make it over to my parents' house. That was awkward.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to eat dinner in like 2-3 different rooms. Like,
Damn, social distancing.
right.
Hey,
My sister came over in a mask, right? Because they worry about spreading germs to my parents.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the fuck you gonna eat? Like, get the mask on. How you gonna eat?
I have that conundrum every day at fucking work, dog. Every day.
It's just crazy. So, so there was that. Just another week of working from home. I'm trying something new. So in the middle of the podcast, I'm gonna pause because I'm trying Postmates for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Deliver your goods.
Yeah, I got some LCs on the way. So,
hey, sir, can I just say you sound magnificent with your new microphone?
Well, it's an old microphone. I just hooked it up for the first time.
Well, it's new to us. It's new to us. It's new to the show. I love it.
There it is. So,
I mean, the first time you have sex with someone, it's old dick, but it's new to them. So there you go.
right. True indeed. True indeed. I agree.
I believe in new pussy.
Well,
I do.
Well,
I really do.
You believe in wife
pussy.
beaters, so we need you to take a time out, sir.
Why the fuck do I have to take a time out?
You can't be a superhero that stands for good and justice and then be like, I got on a wife beater.
Far too aggressive.
Far too aggressive, sir.
Far too aggressive.
Okay. All right.
You
I
should.
get it.
You know what? You should rebrand them.
point.
You should rebrand them. Rapist beaters.
Rapist speech.
There you go.
Man, I gotta put my t-shirt back on. God damn it, because I am not. Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Anyway. Well, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Well, just let us know when you have to dip out, and we will carry on in our usual brother breaking bread fashion. Nothing here. All good. Same thing. Like Anthony, there's been talk of some cases coming next week and a slow uptick because like we said when this all started, it may not be a not essential surgery. It might be elective, but people's get tired of their heart beating at 150 beats a minute all day when you're just sitting still.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so they're gonna get in there, and then of course, just the usual stuff with people had pacemakers that are supposed to be put in, or people had devices they're supposed to get gen changes. That battery gonna run out, so you can only put it on hold for so long. But then when your heart is the other end of it, when your heart's only doing 30 beats per minute while you're trying to run, not good. So it's all bad either way around.
Right.
Outside of that, family's good. I'm good. House is good. Kids are good. Can't complain. So that's that. All right. We opened up with Cardi B, the woman with the longest fingernails, and it's not lost on me that she is the one who brought us coronavirus. And she's bringing in Bernie here to beat that war drum and get people on board who may not be on board. What we talk about back and forth on this show for the last almost going on 4 years as we prepare to get this fat orange bastard out of the White House. But getting Bernie on board, using her platform in a positive way to try to get even some of her fans who may not be on board with voting for Biden, but get Bernie on there and talk about voting for Biden, or supporting Biden. There we go.
One thing I have to say about Cardi B is she is spreading the importance of getting the vote out. She's getting out there, getting her platform out there, and making sure that her people, her fans, especially her fan base, get out there who are of age and vote, because it's very important.
Yeah,
man. If anybody, I'm sorry. If anybody has been following the news and everything and really looking at this in an objective way, they will see the debauchery that's going on in the White House and in Washington as far as this virus, this pandemic is going on. Because the president doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has experts that are less than optimal for diagnosing, except for, of course, Anthony Fauci, who is less than optimal in advising people on what they need to do and what they need to prepare for as we go through this pandemic. So, in my opinion, my hat's off to Cardi B and trying to get the vote out, getting her people to vote, and it's very important to vote. So, and that's my little spiel.
Yeah, and I know, I think it was in the last year. Well, sometime last year. I don't know exactly when. She put a tweet out where she said, she doesn't want to rap all her life. She wants to, use her I guess her platform, her money that she's gained to go back to school, get a degree, get into law, get into politics, get into policy. And some people, of course, clowned her because, no one can ever grow in this America. Once you can't be... Huh? Yeah, you can't be a former stripper call girl who's now an internationally known, rapper. We can debate if she's a rapper or not, but she does do rap songs. And now she's using her voice to try to gain, to try to push the agenda further as far as getting a Democrat, in the White House. So for whatever you like her music or not, she a little quote unquote ratchet, whatever the fuck. You can't deny the fact that she does. I mean, outside of her, is that her husband or fiance? Which one's Offset? Takeoff? I don't know. What one of them Amigo niggas? I don't know. Outside of that shit, and then with all that shit that came out, what she used to do as far as set niggas up and robbing them when she was younger and shit. Outside of all that, man, she pretty much tries to be a positive person, tries to put good energy out there. From what I've seen, the little things I see from her on Twitter, I don't know her personally. None of us do, I don't think. But
you remember we talked about Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
And Maya Angelou was a call girl at one point, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so she obviously evolved from that point and became, PhD.
Yep.
I want to say a Nobel laureate, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
So probably at least a Pulitzer Prize winner or something. I don't know. She was well documented and decorated author. Yeah, man, we don't have to stay in one place. For me, among the female rappers that have been out recently, I mean, I haven't. And that's the thing. You were talking about she didn't want to be a rapper forever. I don't remember the last time I heard a new song from her.
Exactly.
No.
And I don't pay attention. Maybe she's making enough money now just being an influencer.
Hey, I don't know those bloody shoes, nigga. I still live waste to that. That shit still get me going.
Right.
I think the music I did hear from her was cool. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily like download or nothing like that, but I didn't just scoff at her or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think I like the direction she's headed in, man. I like the way that she has used her platform. She's using her powers for good, not evil. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I can't say that for every rapper in period, but you know the newer generation,
Kanye,
and so I'm happy to see somebody that's out there that's politically minded. That's she's trying to be woke.
She's trying to be woke. Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
And we already said in the pre-production, it's on one of them shows we'll go left and right and might go off script. But you brought up a good point. Like one of my favorite podcasters, Rod and Black Guy Tips, they bring up like all our favorites now. Could you imagine if they lived in this day and age of Twitter and we all have records of whatever you said, we wouldn't allow them to grow. There'll be no Malcolm X. There'll be no MLK. Right. They would have been clowning that nigga. Nigga, you sleeping with white women. You cheating on your wife, nigga. Malcolm, nigga used to be a pimp. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're in this day and age where no one gets to grow. You know, everyone. So as soon as you take a step forward, everyone is. Not everyone, but there's 1,000 people there with the Photoshop image of what you said 10, 15 years ago. And we talked about it on the show too, as far as like that line of forgiveness. Are they really grown? When we find out these young white boys said racist shit back in high school and things like that. You know, so it's like you bring up a good point. Like it's very weird. Like people, like they want people to do better, but when they try to do better, they remind them that they used to be bad. And it's a crazy thing when you just see it happening. God damn, my bad. That's a big ass falcon just landed on the fence. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sitting by my window and this bird is big as shit. Sorry. Damn it. But yeah, anyway, focus. But yeah, man, it's just crazy of like how many people in this day and age who are being cut off at the knee because of something they may have done when they were young or been, and just didn't know better. Like, so I don't know. Right. When you said that, it made me think about that. Like all the people who would have been quote unquote problematic in this day and age, who are like the people we, selling McRibs and books and all kind of shit for in their name,
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Crazy.
So
I'm gonna play a little.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this last bit and then we can move on.
Okay.
All right. We're trying to make sure that everybody has all of the health care that they need right now. All right? So people are ending up in the hospital. They can't even afford the treatment they're getting. If their families get sick, they don't have any money. We're trying to make sure that everybody has health care by having Medicare cover all health care bills. Second thing, very importantly, other countries around the world, in Europe and elsewhere, have done it. We want to make sure that people continue to receive their paycheck.
So, so he went back to.
What? Bernie want people to receive their paycheck?
Right. Something that's unheard of, dog. That's unheard of. I never heard of that. Receive their paycheck because they're out of work for a while.
Man, it's so much fuckery going on just with this whole. Like, I don't know. That'd be a whole nother show to get into as far as like the abuses that's going on with this quote unquote, stimulus package. You finding out that millionaires are calling themselves small business owners and they getting like 1.7 checks up to $1.7 million. You got, the local bodega, which is a small business, trying to compete with Ruth Chris as far as getting money out of that shit, man. It's just we kind of talk about it, alluded to it, like who's going to be watching this, especially after Trump got rid of the IG, who's supposed to oversee the handling of this money. We saw the fuckery coming, and anybody who pays just simple fucking 8th grade attention to what's going on knew the fuckery was coming with all this. But whatever.
I agree with your story.
Let's go with the flow.
I'm so proud to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States. Joe was there as we rebuilt from the Great Recession and rescued the American auto industry. He was the one asking what every policy would do for the middle class, and everyone's striving to get into the middle class. That's why...
Hey, did Barack wrestle or something? I didn't know those niggas' ears were so big.
Yeah, man, this is
that top
big dog.
That top part is big and smooth as shit.
Yeah.
His kids could do no wrong in his house, nigga. He heard everything, nigga. Nigga, put that orange juice back in the refrigerator. I hear you. Hold on.
Asked him to implement the Recovery Act, which saved millions of jobs and got people back on their feet. Because Joe gets stuff done. Joe helped me manage H1N1 and prevent the Ebola epidemic from becoming the type of pandemic we're seeing now.
Bars.
He helped me restore America's standing and leadership in the world on the other threats of our time, like nuclear proliferation and climate change. Joe has the character and the experience to guide us through one of our darkest times and heal us through a long recovery. And I know he'll surround himself with good people.
We'll stop right there. We can only hope. We hope that Joe does that. We hope that Joe does that.
Well, I mean, I think that's the probably the biggest redeeming quality of Joe is that he seems to be the type of person who is affable.
Yep.
That will, listen and get engaged in the debate, and hopefully be willing to be swayed. We talked about Bernie, or Cardi and Bernie talked about how he was going to try to pull Biden a little bit to the left.
Yep.
I think Joe is receptive for that. I think he had to show that he was a little bit more of a centrist in the primary to differentiate himself from Bernie, because Bernie's seen as a socialist, and I know that was poison.
Yeah.
But he's gonna have to consolidate the ticket.
Yep.
And I think in the general election he's gonna have to separate himself from Trump, so he's gonna move further left.
I hope so.
So I think some of the things that he was probably arguing about in the primary, I think when he gets to the general election, I think he's gonna be a pragmatist. I think he's gonna have to say, hey, in order to consolidate the ticket, hey, let me pull in a progressive running mate. Let me pull in a woman, is what I assume they're probably going to do.
I think so.
May even be a person of color. So I think he's going to be a pragmatist. I think he's going to, be willing to be swayed, be willing to be moved in a direction to consolidate the Democratic side of things, and then to, basically attack Trump in the most efficient way. So
yeah.
I think that's probably some of his best qualities, is that he's a people person.
Right.
And unlike Fat Nixon, who's in the White House now, I think Joe is okay with. I mean, if he becomes president, when he's in the room, he'll be quote unquote, the most powerful man in the room, I guess. But Joe is also okay with accepting and realizing he ain't the smartest motherfucker in the room, and he will delegate accordingly. I mean, from what I've seen, he's okay with. I know my role. I'm Uncle Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he I think he knows his limitations.
Yeah.
When
I've seen,
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, I mean politically. I don't mean.
I knew we were going. I knew we were going.
Hey, Joe, there's a caveat to that.
Can I snip this woman's hair? Maybe.
No, no.
That's why he need a strong. I mean, we already know. I mean, I guess we already here. We already know Stacey Abrams ain't gonna get it, but that's what he need. Hey, motherfucker, could you nigga? No,
he ain't gonna be no Stacey Abrams.
I know it won't be, but that's what you need, motherfucker. But hey, man, nigga, what's wrong with you? We on TV. You can't be smelling bitches' hair on TV. Here's a wig, nigga. Put on your desk. Smell that shit.
She can be a consultant.
Huh?
She can consult.
Yeah, she can consult.
Yes, she can.
She is too. She is
running mate.
She is too big, too beautiful, too black to be. Yeah, America will never accept that, dog. Them white people will be coming.
I don't know. I just figured, like, I understand it was a little shady.
Yeah.
But she lost in Georgia. Like, you ain't winning an election.
I feel you.
How can you be the VP? You ain't showing that you can win.
Huh?
Sure.
So
I feel you.
I don't know. I don't know who they're gonna choose, but
I mean, but Georgia's tough though, especially for a heavy-set black woman. Go ahead, Tim. My bad.
Yeah, but as I was alluding to, he knows his limitations politically. And so, he's not the smartest man in the room and everything like that. But yeah, he does have an ear for ideas that will push him through into the presidency.
Yeah. Speaking about smart people in the room, did y'all see AOC on The View? I didn't see it.
No, neither.
But I did hear the aftermath. So we all know about Meghan. My daddy can do no wrong, McCain. Everything I do, I use my daddy's name to defend my fucked up actions, McCain. Talk all that shit. She talk. I know you seen. We all see the clips on Twitter or Facebook. She talk cash shit. So you would think a woman a human that talks cash shit. You would think when a person that she has talked cash shit about before in the past, by calling her a waitress, a bartender, whatever some shit she said a while back. You would think if that person was coming on the show, you would want to confront them, right, Joe?
I mean, if you can say it behind my back, say it to my face.
Say it to my face. So, yeah. The View questioned Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Wednesday.
Alexandria
Ocasio-Cortez. But conservative co-host Megan McCain did not participate in the interview despite being present on the show earlier. McCain was present at the beginning of the show when the panel discussed President Donald Trump's recent attacks on the World Health Organization, WHO. She was also present for an interview with health official Dr. Deborah Birx.
So she a Trump supporter?
Who? McCain? Oh yeah.
McCain.
Oh yeah.
After how this nigga talked about her dad?
After how he talked, he said that nigga got captured. He a loser, nigga. I only want to fuck with winners.
They had to cover up this nigga name on the ship.
On the ship, dog.
They made a speech next to in Japan because they got on the USS Wasp.
Nigga, you can't talk about my daddy, nigga. Then I'm gonna go vote for you, nigga. I'm not voting. Fuck it.
Right.
If I'm a hardcore Republican and that nigga on the ticket, he talked that shit about my daddy, I'm not voting.
I'm writing in the name.
Right. Fuck
nigga,
him.
snuffle up.
I'm writing in John McCain. Possibly.
Oh shit. Hold on. Of course, it's live TV, or live podcast don't play.
Welcome back, Congresswoman Alexandria. Congresswoman, thanks for coming to talk to us.
Thank you.
You represent the district. Oh, you're welcome. You represent the District of New York City that encompasses parts of Queens, the Bronx, and has become the single hardest hit congressional district in the nation. It's an area that is heavily minority immigrants, working class, and working poor. So how much clearer does it have to be in the country that this pandemic, while treating us all equally, killing us as it kills us, but why isn't there more emphasis on what's happening to poor people in this country?
Of course. Well, I think sometimes when...
see, it wasn't about her. They gonna talk about poor people. Megan McCain don't care about poor people, nigga. She wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't about AOC.
I'm curious. Let's let it ride. Let's see what you got to say. I'm curious, though.
Yeah, hold on. Damn it. What is this? Get off my screen.
When a pandemic like this hits, or even any natural disaster like a hurricane, like what we saw in Hurricane Katrina or Hurricane Maria, they don't happen in a vacuum. They happen in a social and historical context. And when communities have already been made vulnerable by mass incarceration, when these things happen in the context context of redlining, in wealth inequality, in a racial wealth gap, what it does is that it impacts the most vulnerable the most. And my congressional district, New York 14, out of the top 10 most impacted zip codes in America, 5 of them are in my congressional district, including the top 3. And what we're seeing is that the communities that are most impacted across the country are overwhelmingly working class, Black, and brown. In Chicago alone, 70% of the mortality are Black Americans.
Signed third district, Kansas City.
Yeah, on a personal note, I just found out my old assistant coach, when I was head girls basketball coach about 10 years ago, he just got out the hospital because he got hit. And so I think we talked a little bit last week about how even in Kansas City, miles away from the epicenter of, Ocasio's congressional district, right, African Americans are hit hardest here in Kansas City and places around the country. Kansas, she said Chicago.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, we are the most vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of curious how they are responding to her advocacy.
Right. Yeah. I have a personal note as well to touch on that. My hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana, was one of the fastest rising cities with this disease, and it hit a couple of my family members too. A couple of my cousins was reported to have the coronavirus. They've since recovered. One has been recovered since a week, and I think the other one is recovered maybe a couple of days ago. But this, and of course they're African American, and this, further, reiterates that this is hitting the African American community, at a far more rate than it does anybody else's community. I'm not saying that they're not hitting other communities. It's just that it's attacking the working Black Americans far more than any other.
Like I said, Black Americans have been put at a disadvantage, and we went over that last week about why. But I mean,
right,
it's hitting poor people, and Black people are disproportionately poor.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
So this is from February 19 of this year, I believe, when AOC was on there before, and this time Megan McCain thought she was ready for that smoke.
Every day you're eating acidic foods. You're constantly weakening that enamel.
We not getting no money for Pro Enamel, so they don't get no airtime on this show, nigga. But if y'all do want to give us some money, we like our teeth.
Yes, Pro Enamel.
Congresswoman, thank you for coming on. I'm glad that you decided to come and talk to us. I feel like you're the boogie woman of the right, and I'm the boogie woman of the left, so it's interesting to be talking to you because what you're proposing and what Bernie Sanders is proposing, you said that Fox was like ushering in the apocalypse with both of you, but to conservatives like me who think that big government is very, very dangerous, it is like the apocalypse. And it's not just that Bernie is asking a lot of voters to buy into what I consider radical ideas like free public college, the Green New Deal, Medicare for all. He's advocating for a complete paradigm shift of the American system as we know it. And it's a huge ask for people like me, and it's a huge ask for a lot of people, this seismic shift from capitalism to socialism. And actually a Gallup poll showed that a majority of Americans would not vote for a socialist, around 45% wouldn't consider it. So what do you say to that? It's not just that it's a political, I think there's a lot of Republicans would be more comfortable with a Biden or with a more moderate. What do you say to someone like that?
Well, one is, when you pull these abstract ideas, it's one thing, but the majority of Americans would vote for Bernie Sanders. And that's because of his record, because of his commitment and his policies. But also, I think, I think there's one story that's not really being told here is what's actually happening on the ground in America. Do you know how many what percent of American workers make less than $40,000 a year? Almost 60%. 60% of Americans.
You can't live on that in New York.
You can't live on
No
that
way.
in New York, and you can barely live on that anywhere. You can't live on that if you have kids. And I think that reality, personally, does require a paradigm shift. This isn't working for us. And a $2.1 trillion.
We'll put the show notes on there. I'm gonna need to find they ever get spicy with one another. I want the spice. Hold on.
As a side note, if I was maybe 10, 15 years younger, I would have hollered at AOC.
Nigga, she spit in your face, nigga. You and your wife beaters, nigga.
Entire life, the most violent, the most misogynistic, the most sexist, the most harmful.
This the one I wanted to talk. It's the one I wanted right here. When she start talking about Bernie, let's go right there. Then we'll move on.
Oh yeah, you can see the face that AOC was making.
I know. That's why I thought they was gonna open with that. I hate to have these 7 minutes.
I want to talk about the Bernie bros. The one thing that connects women on the left and women on the right, I have found at least a lot of guest hosts, a lot of guests that have come on over the 3 years I've been here, is the abuse that we have all been subjected to by Bernie bros. It is by far, of anything I've ever done in my entire life, the most violent, the most misogynistic, the most sexist.
Now hold on, dog. I hate Bernie bros. She ain't about to
Like, okay,
and like
I
Trump
on Bernie Bros. I know Roger about to go in on Bernie Bros. I know that.
I'm about to say, hold on, dog. No.
Bernie Bros are the source of Roger's side eye.
Let me finish though. I'm about to say, dog. I hate Bernie Bros, but she ain't about to act like these motherfucking Trump fans ain't as racist, sexist, misogynistic as them zealots over there on the Bernie side. Nigga, she ain't about. She's not. This bitch ain't about to do that.
No, not even a little bit.
My mother has cried.
Well, she ain't been the target of them.
Bernie brothers have sent me, and I'm just one story. He has a real problem, and I don't think that he's doing enough to tamper it down. If it were anyone, I'd say this has no representative of me. It's disgusting. It's vitriolic, and every time I see him talk about it, he's like, "Doesn't represent me. Move on." You're a extremely powerful woman. How do you feel that he's attached to this deeply misogynistic, and I would go so far as to say violent, sector of people?
Yeah, and I think internet culture can often be very toxic, and whether we are cognizant of it or not, it nearly always concentrates on women, people of color, queer people.
Definitely.
And we experience the brunt of it. And I think, I think that to a certain extent, we have to always reject hate, reject vitriol, and denounce that kind of behavior. Also, we also know the amount of anonymous activity that happens on the internet, and that simply is difficult. It is difficult to control when you have like a Twitter handle with a bunch of numbers on it with 2 followers that are lobbying vitriol at you. We don't know where that comes from, but I know that it doesn't.
I think he's done enough to try and stop it.
I think he works very hard. I think we send out messaging emails, and you know what? I've been subject to a lot of this stuff from all sorts of pockets from the internet. ICE and CBP officers targeted me on Facebook for attacks when I went to visit the border. They photoshopped, people who are supposed to be protecting immigrants and children, photoshopped.
He's got to do more.
Horrendous.
He's got to stand up and say it every day if he needs to.
Yeah.
Stop this. We're not accepting it. It's not good for us.
Bah.
Yes, Congresswoman. Thank you for coming on. I really.
Nah. She gave a safe answer. I said, bitch. Anyway. All right.
Well, I think she was moving in the direction of being like, hey, y'all Trump supporters was coming for me.
Yeah.
But then Whoopi missed the pitch.
Yeah, we gotta go to commercial break.
You gotta start talking about some real shit. I need to chill out. This the view.
She's like, we'll be like, all right, got a warning. I cussed this white bitch out last week, so
right.
I'm at my point.
I'm on parole.
Yeah,
right.
All right.
Can't be out here with y'all like this.
Hey, vote, niggas. Anyway, let's move on.
Now listen, you communists and niggers and Jews, tell all your buddies to spread the news. The day of judgment will soon be nigh, as the Lord in his wisdom looks down from on high. Will he battle be lost by mixing the races. We want beautiful babies, not ones with brown faces. Never, never, never I say, for the Ku Klux Klan is here to stay. Never, never, never I say, because the Ku Klux Klan is here to stay.
Yay! Happy Confederate Heritage Month. All April long.
Heritage not hate.
Heritage not hate. The heritage of hating niggers.
This is the month of succession.
Succession.
From the Union.
The Union. Now,
When it was the war of northern aggression.
Northern aggression. Our niggers were good. They were happy. They were happy. They were fed. They were fed. To you no good carpetbaggers from the north came down here and confused them with all your words.
Carpetbaggers. That's what I'm talking about.
You fucking degenerates up north.
You sound like a very distinguished race.
Their wishes on our southern brothers.
I do declare.
Hey, Tim, why you sound like such a distinguished racist, nigga? You sound like you watching niggas fight with old boy from Django. Captain Candy. You do have my interests.
You do.
You had my curiosity.
You have my curiosity.
Now you have my attention.
Oh shit! So in the wake of all this craziness, Mississippi governor quietly, as they always do, because cheats quietly, they're so proud, but they do it undercover. Quietly celebrates Confederate Heritage Month as the state's coronavirus deaths grow. See, wow, I hate these.
Yeah, I was reading that article. I didn't realize that Jefferson Davis retired to the Gulf Coast.
Yes.
Was it Biloxi?
Yes. Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah. Had a little home there. I always want to do that. Name my home. Monticello, the Hermitage.
Shit.
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna name my house one of these days, man.
Right on.
You gotta do it.
So first of all, can I say something about Mississippi, the state of Mississippi? And I must include their largest city, Jackson. They are still trapped in the 1950s. They have not advanced into the new millennium. I don't even think they even celebrated the new millennium. I think they rolled their clocks back and maintain idealisms from the 1950s. Everything is pretty much separate. No, not equal. Of course, even though Jackson is probably predominantly black, but has the highest, it's the highest economically disenfranchised area in the nation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on those statistics. I will look it up, but I think that's about accurate.
Do they make the most chocolate pies in Jackson?
Ooh.
Pretty much.
Shout out to him.
I know they have the strange fruits going on in Mississippi. That strange fruit. You can pick it out for Eddie Tree.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought of another home that's been named.
What's up?
The Weebay household.
Yeah. The Weebay household. That is true. The Weebay house. That is true.
Sometimes I be on the Weebay give, looking at these hateful sons of bitches and wondering how they figure it's heritage, not hate.
I don't get it. I hate them. I hate them all. According to Jackson Free Press, Reeves signed the April 3rd state proclamation, only 2 days after he issued a statewide shelter-at-home order because of escalating COVID-19 infection in Mississippi. Y'all stay at home while we celebrate. The Mississippi Sons of Confederate Veterans posted about the proclamation on Facebook. God bless the Confederate soldier. He shall never be forgotten. I don't know what the fuck that means. Mississippi, something about fuck niggas. I don't know. The Mississippi Sons of
Dio Van Dice.
Yeah, there we go.
ahead.
The Mississippi SBC's April 3rd post read, Dio Van Dice, Latin for under God as our vindicator. Niggas lost. You lost. Nah, I guess not really. Former Governor Phil Bryant had quietly signed a similar proclamation February 2016. His proclamation wasn't included on the official page of proclamations or his official governor's website, but it did show up on the Bevoir. Right?
That's the household. Yeah, that's
Bevoir. You're right.
That's Jefferson Davis' home.
Beauvoir.
Yeah. That's his home that he's named.
That's right. You did say that. My bad. The Gulf Coast, home of Confederate President Jefferson Davis, now a museum.
I would visit that out of curiosity, but
if I do, I'm setting that bitch on fire. And you can quote me for saying that shit.
But hold on, plot twist. Brian changed his tune about Confederate Heritage Month, however, in 2019, when he changed the name to Unity Month. He was reacting to a request by Unite Mississippi, a Foleywood, Mississippi-based nonprofit that focuses on social and racial reconciliation among Christians in Mississippi.
Which is another, it's a cleaner version of these racist bastards that are in Mississippi, because most of these so-called quote-unquote Christians are, supporters of the Ku Klux Klan down there in that burning Mississippi.
Hold on. However, Reeves' campaign eventually defended his participation in, I guess he did some whiteface. Oh, hold on. He did some blackface, sporting blackface along with Afro wigs. And how did it defend this? However, Reeves' campaign eventually defended his participation in the fraternity at the time, confirmed that he frequented Confederate-themed parties. Hey, guys, like every other college student, he did attend costume formals and other parties across America.
Yeah, of course he did. That's how they do it.
Costume parties.
Everybody getting the blackface.
Blackface is costume parties.
Nigga,
burn
through AI.
Burn.
Through
burn
AI.
yourself.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Then they had people calling in. They were trying to find I'll find it and we can put it in the link for the show group, but there was like audio or just text of just people calling in and supporting this bullshit and comparing Northern soldiers to Nazis and all kind of shit, dog. It's just crazy, dog. It's insane that these motherfuckers you fought against the United States and you lost, but then I get it. There's some people up north who still wish they hadn't lost. I get it. And that's why this shit keeps happening.
And then I finally saw
what are you talking about?
I ain't watched the whole thing, but I saw CSA since the quarantine kicked off, and I don't know, I know it's a satire.
Yeah.
Basically the premise is, it's on Hulu if you get a chance to watch it. Basically, what if the Confederacy had won? Yep. And it's like some BBC documentary based on if the Confederacy won. And so I don't know. It's I know it's lighthearted. I know it's a joke, but it's almost like.
But nigga,
it's almost like a wet dream.
But dog, it's like
for one of them folks down there, man.
But in some ways, it's like it ain't too far off.
No.
In some ways, it ain't too far off. It's kind of like Idiocracy, bro. When you watch that movie and you just like,
right,
nigga, we here.
Yeah.
I've been saying that ever since we got since Trump was elected. That idiocracy it's true.
Hey, but like I said though, but that meme, I didn't make the meme, but I posted it. It said Hector Camacho, dog. He did go to the smartest man in the world at the time to fix the problem.
Exactly.
Pat Nixon won't even do that, nigga. So we way past idiocracy.
Yes.
That's the sad part, dog. We way past most idiocracy.
This is idiocracy if it had a sequel.
Yeah.
This is what this is.
So yeah, fuck. I mean, not fuck all of Mississippi, but just niggas that agree with that shit. You know what? Right. Hold on, dog. We need some lighthearted.
He look like a fine Mississippi woman.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Well, down here on Granby Road, we were sitting out, nicely coming down.
I'm sorry, I can't look at her mouth while she talks, dog. It's not. Don't look at it. Going sideways. But the words coming out,
it's about to get funny.
It's very weird.
We had multiple. In addition to COVID-19,
yeah,
we've had multiple
tornadoes.
Tornadoes. It's tornado season.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so you got a woman here who's been affected. House has been torn down. And hey, I love my black people, man. She came out here in good spirits.
Good spirits, happy.
Good. Try to share. She just experienced a tragedy, and she out here in good spirits, trying to communicate to us what she been going through. And so just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy.
Oh boy.
Right.
God damn it.
We look up there and see the tornado touchdown. I told them to run. Get in. You saw the tornado? We saw it land. We saw it when it was twirling in the sky to drop on the floor. So I told everybody to run inside. We get inside, we get in the tub, and then I realized I was too big for everybody else to get in there, so I went and got in the closet. Put the basket over my head, and I heard that glass shattering. It was going whoa, 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 whoa. About 2 minutes. And then when it finally come down and stop, and we bust up out the closet, just stuffed it everywhere. It was 8 of us tonight, right so I was just making sure everybody was okay. Come out.
Busted out the closet.
I bust up out the closet.
Bust up out
you hear the tornado go woo, 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 woo.
She said that bitch, it dropped to the floor, getting low.
Right.
It dropped the ground.
It didn't hit the ground. That motherfucker hit the floor.
Hit the floor, nigga. To the window, to the wall.
That tornado touched down on the floor.
On the floor, nigga. Not the earth, not the ground. Not the dirt, nigga. The flow.
The flow.
I love my black people.
I love Southern black people.
I love them.
Love them.
I make sure the neighborhood, okay, the neighborhood, everybody, family know everybody, so got to come together as a team, make sure everybody's safe or whatever. And this the devastation we had to come up with. Yes, I did.
8 folks? 8 folks?
It was 8 of us in that one house, yeah. And then when I realized I ain't see my daddy, he was up on all the board. I ain't see none of his little legs hanging out. And that when I kind of went loose crazy, but he was like, hey, I told y'all it was going to hit.
Loose, crazy nigga.
Hey, where's Daddy at? I see his little leg. I'm about to go loose, crazy up in here.
Loose, crazy.
And just like an old nigga to remind y'all, he told y'all the weather. I told y'all the tornado's gonna hit.
You look close to that region, man.
Yeah.
Can you interpret loose, crazy for me, bro? What that means?
Loose, crazy. I couldn't find my daddy. So I could go loose crazy.
North too much, too long. I've been in Kansas City way too long to know, to even fathom what is loose crazy.
Loose crazy.
Wow. She about to bust up out the closet.
Busted up out the closet, dog.
And I went loose crazy. Oh shit!
Like loose crazy.
Loose crazy, dog.
Hey, this is a tragedy, and it's good to see her smiling and telling her story. And apparently everybody in the house was fine. I don't know how about the whole community.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was definitely good that she was in good spirits and willing to share her story with her. Was just
Yeah. My heart actually is out to those who have lost their homes, and some of them have lost their lives. There was 15, I think, that perished from this tragedy in Mississippi. So yeah, my heart goes out to them. But yeah, sometimes you just can't understand my Southern brothers and sisters.
And that goes white and black.
Yes. It's both.
Yeah,
so,
because I was in I was down in Mississippi. I was down in Mississippi for some training at a National Guard post.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it was my week-long warrior leadership course, or whatever. And this other white sergeant, I guess it's National Guard, so his people lived around the base. And like the whole week, he was like, "Oh man, when we get done, man, Diddy gonna come, man. We gonna have a good old time. Diddy gonna come." And like, nigga, I'm like, okay, P Diddy, the motherfucker. And then one day I was like, Diddy gonna come. And so after we graduated, this truck was outside. Of course, had like a couple coolers in the back. Opened the truck. He's like, "Oh man, this my Diddy." It was his daddy. Like he kept saying Diddy. I was like, I don't know. You know what? I'm not asking this white man who Diddy is. Diddy gonna come. He gonna bring some burr. We gonna we gonna go down. It's a little spot. We gonna get drunk in the parking lot. Then go dance. Diddy gonna bring. I was like, who the fuck is Diddy? Then it was his daddy.
No, daddy.
His daddy. I was like, oh, your daddy. His daddy. I've been confused all week, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I've been confused all week.
Diddy? No, daddy. It's Papa.
Speaking of another confused white man.
Break bread with your brothers whenever possible.